and the meniscus. And then there are things that don't really get talked about, like cartilage damage and damage to the capsule, which is the tissue that encases the joint. All things that they may need to get into surgery to truly discover how extensive the damage is. When you consider that an ACL by itself takes, give or take, 9 months to recover from, imagine something that is more complex with more repair and an extended recovery, and you start skewing further out towards a year. So you hear there's reports of 9 to 12 months. That's very reasonable, probably toward the longer end, given the complexity.
All right, so, 12 months gets us into next November. So I understand that I'm asking you to guess regarding things that we don't yet know the answers to, but is it reasonable to worry that we may not see him next season at all?
I think, as you said, it remains an unknown. I don't know that worry is the term that we should use, because ultimately what you want for this young man is a full recovery to prolong his career. And as you know, these injuries can be very different depending on how the individual heals. If there are little setbacks, you have to scale back the activity. If they're doing well, sometimes the activity gets accelerated. But the bottom line is we'll probably have a better idea as we get closer to the start of the season. But at this point, I think it's reasonable to hope that we do see him next year.
All right, so the ultimate layperson's question then is, would it be advantageous in any way for him to sit out all of next season? Let's just say it's 12 months, and they deem him healthy enough to play in November. Would he be that much safer than sitting out, let's say, the last 6 games of next season and pushing it out any further? Does the risk of re-injuring it increase?
This is a really good question, and it's certainly not one that you can answer right now. And here's how you decide. We talk about medical timelines in terms of clearance to return. So players will often get the clearance of, okay, it's safe to go back to football activity. There are no restrictions on you now, perhaps wearing a brace, but still, ultimately, you can return to all activity. But that doesn't necessarily mean you're ready to compete in a sport at the professional level. There's a lot of functional evaluation once a player gets to that level to determine, can they be safe on the field? Can they protect themselves? Can they move the way they need to function at the position? And if you go back to Carson Wentz, for example, who had a multi-ligament knee injury, different than Burrow's, but still a multi-ligament knee injury, he did not start the season on time, in part because it was that football readiness, not because he hadn't been cleared medically to return.
All right. So, again, we have to wait and see. I hate the fact that we're even having the conversation, but I appreciate very much the answers. Stefania Bell, our ESPN injury expert. Well done. Thank you, Stefania. Great to see you. Thanks for getting up early with us today. Let me bring the crew back in here. Jeff, as you listened to that, you've been playing the game a long time. You know all about these injuries. What's your first thought that goes through your mind?
You're devastated for Burrow, but listen, your hope is that he is back next year, and that once he clears all those protocols, that he gets action back on the field. Players want to play, Greeny. You know what I mean? Like, I understand the idea of, we're going to postpone him, and from a franchise perspective, but players want to play, and so I know for Joe Burrow and for all his teammates and everybody who's pulling for him, he wants to get back to the field as fast as possible. He's going to work as hard as he can from a recovery perspective, and we're all just wishing him well.
Greg, did anyone do anything wrong here? There's been some criticism on this program, and I've heard it in other places, that they didn't do a good enough job protecting him in a big picture sense. Greg, is there anything to that?
Well, it's not Zach Taylor's job to put him in bubble wrap and hope he's good at 32. Like, his job is to go out there and try to win games. And the only way the Bengals had a chance to win football games this year is by dropping back, throwing it 50-plus times. That was it. They have good receivers. They have decent weapons. What they don't have is a good offensive line. So what are you going to do? Just try to run it down people's throats with an awful offensive line for the most part? No, you can't do it. You have to try to win games. So I understand that he was subjected to a lot of contact this year, and it's hindsight being 2020, but I still think that you have to do what you can to try to win football games. That's by throwing it to your talented receivers.
Quickly, Graziano, what are you hearing around the league reaction to the injury?
Well, everybody's crushed. I mean, everybody enjoys watching this player and wants him to get back as soon as possible. Obviously, there had been concern all year about, are they protecting him enough, but the people you talk to say this is an injury that could happen on any play. Could have happened in the first game of the season as easily as the 10th. So I don't think there's really a lot of a lot of blame being assessed.
Okay, we will continue in just a moment. Graziano, we got one for you coming up. First off, after last night's performance, going out there and throwing 2 terrible interceptions, including one with the game on the line at the end. What happened?
Yeah, Tom Brady's not making the plays that this offense demands of him, and that's eye-opening and concerning if you're a Tampa Bay Buccaneer fan. Listen, he was 0 for 6 on 20-plus yard attempts yesterday, and it started early. Watch right here, Green. This is a pass one-on-one. Evans, your best, against Ramsey, their best. He throws the ball out of bounds. I mean, listen, at least give your guy a shot. That's just a duck ball that has no opportunity. And then right here, out in the left flats, this is a skip. I mean, this is unbelievable. This is like me throwing it from third base to first base and hitting the pitcher's mound. Like, this is not a miss that Tampa Tom can afford to make. It's very disheartening. Listen, the turnovers are a huge deal, but this offense demands the quarterback to be efficient down the field. Tom Brady has not been that for weeks on end. This is an ugly thing for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Well, so Hembo has a stat on the screen that Brady leads the league in incompletions on passes 20 more yards down the field, which begs the question, Greg McElroy, why do they throw so many passes 20 or more yards down the field? That's Bruce Arians' no risk it, no biscuit offense. Tom Brady is a 3-step and get the ball out of your hands quick quarterback who's 43 years old. Do you see some incongruity in what they are doing offensively?
Completely. But I think when they kind of get back to the drawing board, they'll look at the first 15 or 20 plays of last night's script and say, man, that was pretty dang good. And then the third quarter happened, which was maybe one of the worst quarters of football I've ever seen offensively from a Super Bowl contender. I honestly, guys, felt like I had to double check the TV guide one more time, make sure the Bears weren't playing, because it looked like they might have been on the field wearing Tampa Bay Buccaneers uniforms. I really did. But I really don't like what you guys said. There's a few problems here. The receivers didn't play very physical last night. As soon as Jalen Ramsey went over and lined up on Mike Evans, his productivity declined significantly. Chris Godwin wasn't able to consistently separate, nor was Antonio Brown outside of throws made behind the line of scrimmage. So you guys are 100% correct. Not only is Tom not being super accurate on those throws down the field, but the protection's not holding up. Like, at what point are we going to look at it and say, well, we can't throw the ball 40 yards downfield because, one, our quarterback hasn't consistently been hitting those throws all season, and two, we can't keep guys out of his lap. And we know, Tom Brady's been playing this league for 100 years. We know what it takes to make him less than the GOAT, and that's by hitting him and moving him off the spot, and the teams that have beaten the Bucs this year have done so consistently.
So, Jeff, we're going to make it all about Brady because that's what people tend to do. But are they being out-physicaled? Were the Bucs out-physicaled last night?
Absolutely. Listen, this offense, you expect, whether it be Ronald Jones or Fournette, like there has to be some physicality from the offensive line in the run game. And again, there was none there. I think they're under 50 yards rushing. You can't have that with a 43-year-old quarterback that can't complete the ball that you're asking him to complete. So as you look at it, this was Tampa Bay's game plan. It played out to form, right? Make Jared Goff beat you, and then we'll beat you with offense. Well, guess what? Goff beat them, and then they got physically dominated up front. The front four of the Rams dominated the Bucs offensive line, run and pass, complete decimation. You just can't win football games that way.
Listen, I'm going to sound like a broken record, but I just can't. I have to keep saying it. Hembo just put it up on the screen. They've thrown the ball down the field more times than any other team in the National Football League this season. That is what the coach wants to do. If you want to do that, then signing Tom Brady was a mistake. It was not the right. It just doesn't make any sense. And until they figure that out, it's not going to look any better. All right, let's put a smile on our face. There's nothing I enjoy more than this. Sat him down is a keeper. That is a Tuesday staple.
Get some of this. Get some of that. Throw them out the club. Swagoo, throw them out the club. You see them? 1 pancake, 2 pancakes, 3 pancakes. Ooh.
Every Tuesday, Jeff Saturday hands out pancakes for the great blocks that he sees. We call this Sat Him Down. Go ahead, Jeff. Take it away.
Listen, you want to know why the Cincinnati Bearcats are being talked about more than Northwestern? Watch this. The offensive line is carrying them away. Watch right here. We call this sniper fire, Greeny, because the guy don't see it coming. Bam! Jack Renfro lays them down. How pretty is this? Watch and just enjoy, folks. It doesn't get better than this from an offensive line sneaker. Get some of that. I absolutely love it. Jack Renfro lays them out in the defensive backfield. 1 pancake from my man Renfro. We're going to back it up. 2 pancake look right here, but watch Garrett Bowles pulling out this attack. Oh, good heavens. This is not a sniper, Greeny. This is, I see you coming. I got nothing to do but take one. Give some right there, Garrett Bowles. Laying a man out. Got to give him 2 pancakes for that smackdown. What a thing of beauty for offensive line. Out in space. Everybody can see you. America can see you. How about some action right there? And for my final, this is just absolutely gorgeous. This is like you playing backyard football on Thanksgiving, right? And your little kids, like your 3-year-old, 6-year-old sons are running, and you're just giving like little play, you know, your little stiff arms. Watch Chubb right here. Watch him give this, except Greeny. This is a full-grown linebacker, grown man NFL player. No, take that, little man. Sit down right there. How about that? Sat him down for 3 pancakes by my man.